With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Well, good afternoon, race fans, and welcome out to the Five Flags Speedway as Turn 3 Racing Network bringing us the finale of the Snowball Derby for the American Sim Racing Club. Here tonight being brought to us by Postma Flooring, and Postma Flooring is your go-to place for all your flooring needs in the greater Lower Michigan area. Stop on down and give them a call, as they are the presenting sponsor for the Snowball Derby. We can't thank them enough for all they do. Zach Postma and his crew, true professionals in the land of flooring. And Roger, you need some flooring, so we can get you some flooring done up here. We talked to Zach today. Tell you the crews were out early unloading the cars. A lot of preparation going into the Snowball Derby here tonight. And we bring in my sidekick, Roger Muth, and we enjoyed a little bit of a break. We were up bright and early getting ready for tonight's broadcast.
And early out, we ended in the early morning here on the East Coast of last night racing, and well, we're back at it here. These drivers have had a few hours off. You talked about them unpacking the cars, loading out here tonight for a 300-lap feature event. And where did we start? Well, we started with happy hour, if you will, a practice session yesterday. We went through that solo car qualifying for these drivers where Zach Nichols was able to snag the pole here for tonight. I do believe it is. I may have wrote that wrong out.
You wrote that one wrong.
The team car, out there. But hey, you know, we worked through that. We worked through that last chance qualifier, and we're now officially set. 30 drivers are here on the premise. 30 drivers have their helmets on out there practicing right now, dialing it in for the final time before we kick things off here to crown a Snowball Derby champion.
Yeah, and tonight, no time trials, everything, all like you alluded to, Roger, locked in last night. The big news here tonight is how the strategy is going to play. We were talking to a lot of crew chiefs. 300 laps is what the distance is. Caution laps are going to count here tonight, which were, if you were with us last night in the LCQ presented by Hoosier Racing Tires, the caution laps did not count. So that would play really a wrench into these drivers. But under caution, laps are going to tick. You're going to lose laps in the pit area if you have to come down and fix up your race car. A lot of these drivers talking about 100 to 120 laps is about the max on fuel if we were to get a green flag run. So potential for some green flag pit stops. And we know that these drivers do not bring the NASCAR crews in to pit these race cars, so we could see a lot of strategy come out and play here tonight in the Snowball Derby presented by Postma Flooring. And Roger, I really do. The caliber of driver in this field would not surprise me if we got to see some green flag stops.
Absolutely, and then you're going to have guys like you and I jumping over to change some tires out there, and let's face it, Al, you and I are athlete at all. But these drivers not only having to come down and make green flag pit stops, you only have 3 sets of tires, Al, and no fast repair. What is a fast repair? No backup car, race fans. These drivers, what you see is what you got. You ding it, you scratch it, you dent it, you knock something off it. That's how you got to continue to run. If not, you're going to be parking it down on the infield, and you're going to be grabbing one of those cold beers out of Coyer's cooler, because that's where he is.
Absolutely. And with that being said, only 2 additional sets of tires in the pit area tonight. that is going to be one of the biggest talking points out here for tonight. These drivers, this racetrack is going to eat these tires alive, especially with being underneath the sun, and it's going to transition into darkness by the end of this race. A lot of transition in this. You're going to see comers and goers. You got to stay on the lead lap. You got to stay out of trouble if you want to be lifting up that big giant check and the trophy at the end of this one. 300 laps, Roger. That's going to be a very, very daunting task here tonight for these drivers.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you reworded that. I said 3 sets. I was counting the set that goes on the
True.
car, so two of them that you have sitting down on the pit side that you can throw on your machine. 300 laps, you talk about it. Last night we saw the bottom lane being dominant very early, and about a quarter of the way through our event, the outside groove started to come in. But then you also got to think about it. Or, you know, I talked about Zach Nichols being on the pole. He's on the outside pole is what I really meant. But last night he was able to jump out and kind of pace the field. Everybody had to run to his pace and try and battle for that second place. You know, are you able to save your tires? That's what it's going to come down to. When does the outside lane come in, and how much can you save those tires and not have to battle through the field? So it's going to be a big strategy game here tonight. But these drivers, these 30 drivers, they are the ones that know these strategies better than you and I.
Absolutely, and I like how you worded that, when the outside comes in. If you were with us last night for the LaPlante Racing Products Snowflake 100, we saw the outside come into play late in that race, and we had 2 strong grooves. I expect that maybe even a third groove of this track will really widen out here. The other thing we got to watch for are the marbles collecting around this racetrack. You'll get in that, it's going to be like hitting a bunch of snowballs, and those will really upset these race cars. But 30 drivers, 300 laps, and a $500 purse payday for the top 10 drivers. That's $500 split across the top 10 positions, Roger. But in order to get that money, you have to make it to lap 300, and that's going to be a test of machine, man, and patience.
Patience. You talk about patience. We saw a lot of drivers getting a little impatient. Well, it's the last chance qualifier. You know how that goes? Everything ramps up. The patience start to wear out. Tonight, though, it's the big patience. 300 laps is the ultimate goal. We talked about it just a little bit ago. 0 fast repair. You ding it, you bend it, you twist it, however you want to say it. That's what you got. You don't want to go out there early playing bumper tag. You don't want to be tagging it off the wall. We saw a couple drivers get into trouble off of turn 2, off of turn 4 yesterday. You got to keep the fenders on it. You got to keep it cool underneath the helmet and just work with what you got for the first, so I'm going to say 200 laps of this event.
Yeah, I think really the first 200 you have to ride, at least if that would be my mindset. Maybe even 250 laps. You know that last 100 laps of this race is going to tick by, and that's when I believe we're going to see a lot more intensity. I think you're going to see a lot of give and take at the start of this one for the first 2/3 of this race. That last 100, that's when you're going to start seeing people set themselves up track position wise, figure out what you're going to do. I think starting out in this daytime weather, knowing it's going to end whether at dusk or under the dark starry night, that's going to be how fast this race goes by. These drivers clicking off 16-second laps. We know that the fall off is going to be around a second by the time those tires are ready for new ones. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen there. I tell you, one thing, looking at the speed chart here during the happy hour session that's happening, our pole sitter only 20-second quick right now, Roger.
Long run speed, Al. Long run speed with 30 qualified drivers here that are well experienced in their field, whether it's real life racing, iRacing, RC racing, and all. They have all that, the experience. And that's right now what your pole sitter has. He has the experience, and he's been working on just dialing that car in for that long 100 lap run that we're going to have here tonight.
Absolutely. We're taking a look at that pole sitter. That's the 11 of Jaden Kratacci out there working around the speedway in his number 11. And, Jaden, a very quick driver, but right now, one of the drivers in the triple digits for practice laps. 117 laps of practice here in this last happy hour. only a couple drivers else there, and 2 of them turning more laps. So with Jeff Dillon had turning 128 laps so far in this practice session. So these drivers really trying to figure out what this car is going to do as the fuel load burns off, as these tires get blown off. That's really what they're going to have to take and find out where they are. So speed doesn't mean everything. You got to really figure out these race cars, and I think it's a smart move for these drivers that have turned a lot of laps.
Yeah, it's not just about the drivers that are turning laps for some of these guys. There's a driver in the field here. We handed out some awards over the last 24 hours now. There's a driver out there, car number 7 of Pete Dillon, who picked up that Flagman Graphics Best Appearance machine. Actually, you just saw it right there. Jaden Kratacci just passed him on pit road. How about some of these drivers in those paint schemes that they have out there?
Yeah, I mean, a beautiful paint schemes out there. As you see, the number 7 of Pete Dillon, the driver, sitting there on pit road, winning, as you said, that in a beautiful paint scheme. But we look at some of these cars on pit road or out on the racetrack. We've got the 93 of Andrew Payne out there. He's got a nice looking 93 car. He had a nice look to that automobile, along with West in the 15. Not so much in the Christmas schemes, but it's got that ice color, the white and the blue on there. Riley Duncan's 97, looking sporty, wrapped in those lights. He hopes to be lighting up Victory Lane here this evening. Well, Roger, just about done with our practice session. Why don't we thank some of our great partners that have made this weekend possible for the American Sim Racing Club. And it all starts here with our Postma Flooring, as they are presenting sponsor of the Snowball Derby. And Postma Flooring is locally owned floor covering company located in Fruitport, Michigan. At Postma Flooring, you can find all your flooring covering needs with new installations, repairs, or just general service. Specializing in luxury vinyl planking and luxury tile flooring, no task is too small or too big for the master installers at Postma Flooring. Serving the greater Lower Michigan area, you can set up your appointment today by calling Postma Flooring at 616-818-8980. How about the tires that keep these race cars on the racetrack? Hoosier Racing Tire is the proud sponsor of the American Sim Racing Club and sponsor the pole award that Jaden Kratacci picked up last night. Hoosier Racing Tire is the largest racing tire manufacturer in the world. They fuel passion, pride, and success with tires designed for champions. Hoosier Racing Tires. LaPlante Racing Products is the scaphoid wrist injuries are all too common in the racing world and can be easily reduced with a simple addition to your racing vehicle. The patented steering coupling device developed by LaPlante Racing Products is designed by a driver for drivers of open-wheel race cars. The LaPlante steering coupling device minimizes the impacts for frontal collisions that can violently thrash the steering column, leading to injuries. For more information, head to the LaPlante Racing Products website today at LaPlanteRacingProducts.com. And Flagman Graphics is the proud presenting sponsor of the Best Appearing Paint Scheme Award for the 2026 American Sim Racing Club Snowball Derby weekend. Flagman Graphics specializes in helping to make racers of the Northeast look phenomenal on the racetrack in wraps and graphic design. Those are our great sponsors, as right now the Snowball Derby presented by Postma Flooring starts to take the grid, and this is your starting lineup here tonight, starting all the way back in row number 15, starting in the 30th position here this evening will be car number 7. Get in the provisional here. It is Pete Dillon, your Flagman Graphics award-winning car here will start 30th. Starting on the inside of row number 15, it's going to be the number 41 of T.J. Hassan. Row number 14 is going to see Michael Deitch in the number 88 rolling off 28th. And 27th starting spot, car number 81, it is Joey Lamb. Lamb will start 27th. Row number 13, we'll see Zach Postma in car number 8 starting 26th. And to his inside, car number 59, that is Nate Henry. Henry will roll 25th. Your 24th starter in the car number 15, that is Joe West in car number 15. And to his inside, Chuck Darling starting 23rd in car number 88. Row number 11 has Caleb Ramsey in car number 13 rolling 22nd. And your 21st starter will be car number 88. That is Case James. He was your Hoosier LCQ winner from last evening. Row number 10 is going to show your 20th starter. That is Morgan McDonald. And the driver of the number 38 is David Patton. Patton will roll off in spot number 19.
Starting on the 9th row here tonight, driving car number 97, the 18th starter here tonight is Nathan Lawrence. Starting 17th, driving car number 29 with one of the biggest smiles you have out there onto the speedway. That's going to be Preston Boers. Boers in car number 29, starting 17th. On to the 8th row here to the outside, starting into the 16th starting spot out of Maryland, driving the Pontiac here for the Dillon Motorsports number 52. That'll be Jeff Dillon. Into the 15th spot, driving car number 86. He's a dirt fan at heart. It's going to be the 86 of Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman in the 86. Starting into the 14th position here tonight, driving car number 16. He's a feature winner. It's going to be Noah Boucher. And driving the number 55, starting in the lucky number 13th position here tonight. He's got glasses that say, I'm the cold man here tonight. Ollie Ferguson will pilot the 55, starting 13th. To row number 6 here tonight, driving the car number 33, starting in the 12th spot, that'll be Ty Leclerc. Leclerc in the 33. How about the 11th starter here tonight? He's got the number 3 for Dale on the side of that. That'll be Trent Smith. He'll start into the 11th spot. Now on to the 5th row here tonight, driving the number 72, starting into the 10th spot. A beautiful number 72 here tonight. That'll be Aiden Murray. Murray in the 72, starting 10th. How about this driver? Had a up and down night last night. Landon Atkins. He's going to roll from the 9th starting spot in car number 11. Starting all the way into the 8th spot, that's on row number 4. Driving car number 35, that'll be Hayden Schwank. Schwank in the number 35. And starting 7th to the inside of row number 4, that'll be car number 93 of Andrew Payne.
Now brings us to our top 6 starters for the Snowball Derby presented by Postma Flooring. Your 6th starter, he's a 2024 iRacing Daytona 500 winner, 2025 Sim Tour Slinger winner. That is the number 2 of Jimmy Gawker. Gawker will roll off in P number 6. Your 5th starter on the inside of row number 3. The driver is a 7-time ASRC champion, 4-time Super Late Model champion, 221 and 2 annual Snowball Derby pole sitter, has yet to bit the victory lane in this event. It is, you know him as the Jet, Brett Hahn. Brett Hahn will roll off in P number 5. To the outside of row number 2 in the 4th starting, he is a 2-time and defending ASRC Snowball Derby winner in the 2nd annual ASRC Snowball Derby pole sitter. This is the driver of the number 13, Thomas Axum. Axum will roll off in P number 4. Your 3rd place starter is an ASRC Street Stock race winner at the South Boston Speedway, June of 25. He'll be rolling off 3rd in that beautifully prepared car number 97. This is the Canadian sensation, Riley Duncan. Duncan will roll off 3rd. Now to your front row, the outside pole sitter for the No Chance Motorsports, car number 44. He's a 2024 Midwest Classic Racers champion, 2017 Midwest Indoor Racing Mini Cup champion, and defending ASRC champion in the Super Late Models, Street Stock, and overall. The driver is the number 44. It is Zach Nichols. Zach Nichols will roll off on the outside of row number 1, and that leaves only one driver. Your pole sitter for tonight's race, car number 11. He is a 2019 CRA Jegs All-Star Tour Rookie of the Year, 2020 SBMS Rookie of the Year, 2021 SBMS OLM Track champion and ASRC SM Super Late Model Triple Crown champ, the driver, the number 11, Jaden Kretacci. He is your pole award winner presented by Hoosier. Got to take home a little bit extra cash before the green flag even dropped. And Roger, 30 cars ready to do battle as they sit on the back stretch, getting ready to go green flag racing here tonight. 30 cars ready to do battle for 300 laps as the drivers sit there on the back stretch. Now they start to roll. The nerves on these drivers, what are they thinking right now as they get ready to go racing for 300 laps?
Remember what we talked about. Remember what we talked about. Remember what we talked about. That's what they're thinking. They've thought of this all day long. The strategy. They bounced it back and forth with their crews. When do they think it's time to go? When do they think they need to really dial it back? What position do we feel safe in? And, well, the ultimate question at the end is, when do we go, baby, go? When do we just turn it up and let these boys loose here tonight?
Any of these drivers would be able to win. We do have one alternate. It looks like gridded up Connor Jones stuck around. Roger, he's going to be able to start the Snowball Derby as he was an alternate just in case someone had some issues. So a full 30 cars, and congratulations to Connor Jones for being a part of the Snowball Derby.
Al, the best part of this, we're here on iRacing. You're in New York, I'm in Pennsylvania. These drivers are in their homes, their basements, their sim rigs. Some of them even out camping, brought their sim rig with us, or them. But hey, there's no fog, and we're about to get ready to drop the hammer here tonight.
No fog, but we could get it as nighttime gets there, as these drivers are going to have a lot of transition. The iRacing.com pace truck pulling down into their green flag is up, and we are live for the Snowball Derby.
Great start by your pole setter here tonight. Jaden Kretacci has pulled away by about a car length and a half over Zach Nichols. The first battle, that is side by side down the back straightaway into turn number 3 they come. That'll be Axum and Riley Duncan. That outside lane looking a little strong out of turn number 4 already, as Axum will nose ahead. He has the room to come down. Does he take the opportunity to come to the bottom side of the speedway? He will. They will go single file for the top 5 positions here, with Kretacci leading the first lap. Nichols, Axum, Duncan, and Hahn the top 5.
Jimmy Gawker stuck to the outside as he's got the 11 of Adkins going on the attack underneath them. And right behind him, they got Aiden Murray in that 72 car. Everyone minding their own P's and Q's as they work off the corner. And as I say that, our first yellow flag of the evening comes out, and trying to see that. Roger, do you have eyes on anything that happened on the racetrack?
Squirrel.
All right. Yeah, we don't want
There is. Yeah, nobody turned around here, Al. I don't see. I believe we threw the caution flag. Something happened on the initial start here, so we're going to just double them back up here and give these guys a fair shake at it, I do believe.
Okay. Makes perfect sense. As I think scoring is...
Yeah, the
getting
transponder
situated.
loop here just not 100% accurate right now, and I think that's why we're gonna slow them down so we can keep a fine eye here tonight on everything. We want to get these drivers have their fair chance tonight.
Absolutely. It says it's
We don't want to
showing...
score anybody a lap down, right?
Correct. And we're showing Andrew Payne up at the top of that, but we know Jaden Kretacci led us to the green flag, unless I missed...
No, you are 100%. Jaden has led every lap so far here tonight. So like we said, just a little bit of problems here, a little bit of hiccups getting this one going with the scoring transponder loops here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. Don't worry, we got great admins and officials here tonight that will get everybody put back into their positions, and we will get this one fired back off here tonight. But now, that was just we'll call that a teaser, a little bit of a preview, if you will.
Yep, and we've got drivers out on the racetrack chiming in here. Michael out there saying the scoring never started, Roger. So that's the reason for the yellow flag. I'm showing 9 laps completed.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. But hey, I do got a couple drivers bouncing around here on the scoring. So, hey, we are correct. There is a scoring issue, like we said, race fans. So bear with us as we got these drivers slowed down here. We're going to see if we can reset the timing loops and get this all squared away. If not, hey, what's the worst, Al? You get to listen to us talk for a little bit longer.
Yep, absolutely. I wonder if
we're going to get to know that you that you love those RC cars so much.
We do, and we'll be seeing you fairly soon, Roger. I think we're about 3-4 weeks away. We're all
4 weeks away. You're coming down to the great state, huh?
Coming down there to the Giant Expo Center in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So if you're in the area and want to stop in and say hi, that's where we'll be for at least 3 days of racing.
Saturday. Always pencil me in for a Saturday.
As long as you're buying the milkshakes.
Now, you know what, Al? I might just have to do that, but my son, he might get a little mad if you don't share.
Well, I'll buy him a milkshake.
Yeah, Marky Mark always has the funky bunch.
Yeah, that's right. So I did talk to Race Control at before we went live here tonight. They said they were going to do about 15 laps of pace laps ahead of the green flag being dropped, Roger. So I'm wondering if the racers have to complete those 15 before scoring will actually kick in, before it says we're going green.
Hey, at this point, I'll believe you, Al, just like I believe all the race fans out there that are in the chat. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. And who you pulling for? I see a lot of Zach Nichols fans out there. We got some Ollie Ferguson fans. We have some Nate Lawrence. I believe I see Pops out there pulling for you. Al, you're pulling for me, right?
I always pull for you.
That's my boy.
My boy Roger here taught me everything I don't know.
We still don't know.
Yeah, we still don't know. Well, how about Riley Duncan out there? Said he hopes everybody enjoys the show and that they're going to try to put on. And Duncan out there going to start. Was supposed to start in that fourth spot. Andrew Payne is being shown up front, but we know Jaden Kratanski was leading us to the green flag.
I know what it is, Al. I mentioned that that naughty word of fog, and that's got to be what's affecting the timing and scoring.
Yeah.
It's bleed over.
Hey, it would not be a big event, right?
You got that right.
Without some kind of glitch. Hey, it happens. We hope you're enjoying it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up here if you're watching live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. That's not for Roger or I. That's for the drivers. And when they come back, they say, oh, we love seeing those thumbs up. That means that people are enjoying the show that we're putting on out on the racetrack. And, well, that's can't be true, much more true than that.
Yeah, these guys, they go back, they watch the race, they take a notice at the thumbs up that I say, you guys give us, and they do base a lot of that stuff off that.
Helps them with getting real sponsors and all that stuff. So, all right, Roger, I'm watching Barney down there in the flag stand. All right, he's got that green flag up there showing. All right.
So what you're saying is there's a possible chance.
I think there's going to be a chance that we're going to go green flag racing here fairly shortly.
Keep an eye. It looks like everybody's picking up the pace here to try and get some laps turned around. And Al, what does this do as the driver? Put the helmet on for a second. Kind of slot yourself back into the old sim rig. What does this do? You got amped up all day. 300 laps is what you were thinking, and then all of a sudden we have a slowdown here right from the start.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm not really sure. As we got some drivers coming down pit road, Roger, so not 100% sure what's going on. We'll see if we've got some. You hearing anything over the race communications? Looks like the field is coming down pit road right now to their pit stalls. So wondering if we'll be taking a quick timeout, because the pace truck's still on pit road. The pace truck
I
never.
know you like to pick on those Chevys.
Well, they probably
Go for
couldn't.
it.
They probably couldn't get it started, but it never left. It never left the racetrack. So we see the cars getting lined up. A little bit of a passing shower here. I know the sun's shining, but hey, we are in Florida. We do have those sun showers that fly. And we will go from there as we get ready to go. Roger, so we are in a holding pattern for the Postma Flooring Snowball Derby. As we get ready to go with that, we will sit here and see what's happening as the drivers are down on pit road, waiting for this shower to pass.
Al, I believe we're going to be here for just a couple of moments. I'm reading here over the communications, and it looks like we have a unfortunate bug in the server. Race fans, what does that mean? Well, we're here on the iRacing.com platform. This is all a server. You heard me talk about how I'm in Pennsylvania, Al's in New York. These drivers are in their homes and wherever they're racing from. This is a simulated platform off a server that these drivers use as a learning and development tool, and a lot of these drivers, this is as close as they get to racing, and unfortunately, sometimes we all know how hardware and software likes to play not nice all the time. It's great when it works, and unfortunately, sometimes they have some hiccups, and we need to restart, and unfortunately, that's kind of where we are right now. So you got a little bit of a preview. 8 laps of green flag racing were completed here tonight, but, well, crumble the paper up. All the notes that you just heard us say that you've been taking, throw them away, because we're going to restack them in here in a few moments in a brand new server. And, yeah, that's where we're at right now. Holding pattern.
Holding pattern. Roger, you want to try to grab our pole sitter real quick while we wait for the shower to go? We'll move him in here, talk to our Hoosier Racing Tire Pole Award winner as we bring down the number 11 of Jaden Kretacci. And Jaden, we get out there and we got this passing shower that's come through the Five Flag Speedway, kind of putting us in a holding pattern. Roger and I were just talking. You had the build up all day. We knew that the race was coming. You guys get on the racetrack, get the car warm, the brakes hot, and then we get a holding pattern. What does this do to the driver's psyche?
Oh shoot. Psychologically, it kind of gets us out of our rhythm a little bit, but we'll be able to lock back in once we go back on track. You get the adrenaline rush and the intensity from, starting up front in the Snowball Derby. So we'll just stay focused, keep our head down, and see what we can do going into this race.
Yeah, you picked up that Hoosier Pole Award and going to lead us to the green flag here tonight. 300 laps. We saw at the start of that where what we thought was the start of it before the rain came in. We saw a lot of give and take. You think we're going to see that for a good portion of the race before that pay window starts to get greased up?
I'm kind of hoping so, especially after how last night went for us. Definitely didn't go well. But, yeah, hopefully there'll be some give and take tonight. People will keep their heads on straight, and hopefully we all just have a good time and go have fun racing in Snowball Derby.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We watched you last night. You ran down some laps, ran in the snowflake, and now we're here underneath these weather conditions. We'll get that back there. But man, talk about a career. You were the Jegs All-Star Tour Rookie of the Year back in 2019, and are you continuing racing on the real side along with the sim side?
Actually, we've been doing a little bit of both. We're looking at getting back into the Jags Tour. I don't think it's called the Jags Tour no more. I think they just changed the name on it. But we're looking at getting back into that this year. So that'll be good. Looking at doing some Cars Tour and then reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Models again.
Very good, man. It's awesome. We'll be watching. I watched the Cars Tour. I watched that more than the other national series. They put on such a good show, and it seems like a really good organization with the new owners of that to really taking care of the racers, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a great job with that series, and it's only getting bigger and bigger. They had Fox Sports live stream last year during Wilkesboro, and just the way they run the series, everybody's got so much respect for each other, it seems like, and it seems like a good group to be with.
All right, sir. Well, We know you're going to get ready to climb back in this race car. We've got to get there, but we just wanted to talk to our pole sitter while we had a little bit of downtime as we saw you standing outside that the race car with the umbrella. Hopefully the rain will get out of here and we'll get you back on racetrack real soon.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, good luck here tonight. That's your pole sitter here tonight of the 2026 Snowball Derby. That is Jaden Kratacci. So that will do it there as we are in a holding pattern. As we do that, Roger, I think we'll step away pay a couple of ads, and we'll be right back here to the Turn 3 Racing Network's coverage of the Snowball Derby. We thank you guys for being a part of tonight's broadcast. Sorry, weather is getting us right quick, but we will get that out of the system real soon, and we'll be right back here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Jason Hamilton. I'm Director of Racing Operations and Event Management for NASCAR. I'm also the Series Director for the eNASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series on iRacing and the eNASCAR Ignite Series on iRacing. We're here at Myrtle Beach Speedway for a test session for Zach and Max, the two champions from the eNASCAR Peak Series and the eNASCAR Ignite Series. They're testing late models in partnership with Rev Racing. Opportunity for them to come out and showcase the skills that they built on iRacing in a full-size stock car for the first time.
Got in the car, got the wheel adjusted. Zach's in the car now. Get that set up for him, and be ready to roll here in a little bit.
The tips we got were basically just to try and keep it on the bottom as best as possible, and that's going to be the easiest way to keep the car in one piece and just not make any mistakes.
You're off the throttle for a long time. You're off the throttle longer than you actually think you need to be, but the corners are so long. If you try to pick the throttle up too fast, it's just going to either jerk the car loose or make it tight and then jerk loose. Any other questions?
Nope.
We'll try. If you have any trouble, need to talk about something, it's fine to stop. Always come off the racetrack like we did, a while ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that was crazy. I wanted to open it up a little bit more, but it was all about just keeping the car in one piece, being safe.
I have no complaints on that. So just now that you're out, you can relax and think about what you did, and then we'll apply to the next round. Okay. Yeah, you did very well. Yeah.
Thank you.
You make me nervous, but you didn't. You didn't make me nervous this time. Yeah. So that was good.
You good with the height now? Yeah. All right.
What about your gears? You know where they're at? First, second, third, fourth? Okay.
telling you now is what we've told him all along.
And you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You're doing perfect. We're just trying to help those little places to gain more. My name is Mark Green. I work for Rev Racing. I am the driver development coach for the team. They both got up to speed fairly good. The biggest thing, especially here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, it's the line that you run. This place it's old pavement, it's wore out, it doesn't have a lot of grip. So there's a different way of racing this racetrack line-wise and driving-wise. So we had to work on those aspects of it with them. But they took to it very well, and they learned most of it. They still don't have it obviously down pat. After 6 hours, nobody would. Both young men did very, very well. We were very happy with our test today. No mishaps, and I think everybody had fun, and we had a good day.
So both Max and Zach did a great job. It was very impressive to see how quickly they got up to speed today. They took the coaching very well. We implemented a similar format to what we do with the Driver Diversity Combine, where we bring a large group of drivers in and evaluate them. We gave them a couple of sessions in the morning to get up to speed. Both of them took those sessions, learned from the coaching that we had today with Rev Racing's Mark Green, and both of them built. And as we went on throughout the day, every time they went out, they got faster and faster, and we're actually turning some pretty competitive laps by the end of the day. I think it just reaffirms our belief that iRacing in the future can continue to be a grassroots form of racing where we're reaching a new audience, reaching a broader audience of talented drivers that may not have access to a traditional racetrack to begin their racing careers, but they can start them on iRacing and then from there propel themselves to the next levels and higher levels of racing. And just like drivers similar to William Byron, we'll continue to see drivers like that get their start on iRacing, make their way up the NASCAR ranks, and hopefully one day be racing in the Cup Series.
Bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
See what you can do, man.
Oh! Wait.
That's a strike right there. Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As the rain shower, well, it's past, Roger. The cars are back on the racetrack, getting lined up behind the iRacing.com pace truck, and washed a little bit of that rubber off the racetrack, but we still got 300 laps of racing. Well, a little bit less than that, as the laps are ticking underneath this yellow flag as the cars get lined back up on the racetrack. But within the next couple laps, we'll be back green flag, letting the track get just a little bit drier. And that was just a weird rain shower, but we're back ready to bring you the rest of the Snowball Derby presented by Postma Flooring. And Roger, we talked to Jaden there, and really has to do a mental reset as they get ready to go back green flag racing for 300 laps.
Yeah, it stinks that we got that little bit of a rain shower, but these drivers, they hung out. We got to thank you, race fans, for also hanging out with us. All these drivers are finally back into their position. We should be going green here in about another lap or 2 here as these drivers still funnel back through. Remember, we brought these guys down pit road, and so everybody, getting back safely onto the racetrack, getting it all worked back in, pulling the belts tight, making sure everybody's headsets are still working out there, and because that's a big factor, Al.
Right.
If a caution flag comes out, you got to hear it.
Yeah, they got to make sure that one-way race control from Tanner Tallarico to the race car drivers, the receivers, are working, and they are doing so. It looks like we are getting pretty close to being able to go back green flag racing as these drivers start to put some heat in these tires. As Jaden Kratacci, Zach Nichols, we're still up front over Riley Duncan and Thomas Axum, Brett Hahn, Jimmy Gawker. Your first 3 rows, Andrew Payne, Hayden Swank, and Ada Murray and Landon Atkins is the pace car. Down and away. Green flag is up, and we are back underway with the Snowball Derby.
Right up where we left off. 8 laps will be in the books here when we come back around. It is Jamie Pataki out front with Nichols, Axum, Duncan, Gawker, the top 5. Hahn funneling in there, trying to get to the inside of that number 2. Actually, not going to be able to do it. He'll fall back, and he'll just get in line. 3 wide, racing down into turn number 1, though, here on some of the opening laps. That is Schwank in the middle, Atkins down low, and that was Leclerc to the outside. Here comes now the 3 of Trent Smith.
So that little rain shower definitely got these drivers juiced up as they are ready to go. Swank looking for a way around to 33 of Leclerc. Leclerc, we're going to work the outside. How about the number 3 of Trent Smith? Smith working the outside of the raceway. He's got the 55 of Ferguson digging down low. And you really got to watch turn 3 and 4. There's no white lane to give you kind of an out of bounds in that banking. You get off that banking of the racetrack down to the apron. That's going to cause nothing but trouble for you as Smith rolls the outside around Swank here early on in the Snowball Derby. Already 10 laps complete, make it 11 as they work lap 12.
Side-by-side battle on the speedway. You talked about it right there between the 3 of Smith and Schwank. There's Lawrence. Ferguson's right there. Boucher's right there. Hoffman. They're all battling from right around the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th position here as we come to complete lap number 12 here out of the 300 schedule from the 5 Flag Speedway. The inside lane looks pretty good, Al, but we have already seen sideways for the number 97 there. Lawrence was sideways. Nate was able to catch his Hershey Kiss before it hit the floor. Those wrappers, they always keep these Hershey Kisses safe.
Yeah, didn't have any dings in that into the aluminum foils around the 97 of Lawrence. Good save there. There's now single file a little bit closer to the front. We got the 72 of Murray working underneath Atkins. That's the battle for the 8th spot. And we saw in happy hour turn 4 and turn 2, the cars seem to get real light, especially in this sunset or the sun right now, Roger, that they get a little bit light there. Everybody's single filing really out there. It looks like around the racetrack, trying to see. We look all the way back here down to the Joey Lamb 81 car. Everybody's single file, logging some laps, trying to figure out their cars, get a little feel for it. So we watch Case James working there at car number 15. He's behind the 52 of Jeff Dillon. Dillon up the racetrack, a little bit of a bumper tag. Everybody sorts it out, and we stay green.
You got to be careful if you're Jeff Dillon right now because, well, you can't get any more Pontiac front bumpers. Look at that Pontiac number 52, the driver out of Maryland being pressured by the home alone number 15 there of Case James. James, now we talked about it last night, having that home alone. What about Die Hard? Is that a Christmas movie?
Its setting is Christmas. That will be a debate that will go on for the rest of the time. I say it's a Christmas movie, but others out there, they'll say it's not. Oh, one car hard on the outside wall. I believe that was Caleb Ramsey into 13 automobile. Ramsey up the racetrack, and it seems like the car's going to keep on ticking. That was some hard lick to the outside concrete.
Yeah, trying to take a peek at it here as he comes out of turn number 4. Just a scrape. It looked harder than what the damage looks on the machine. So Ramsey getting very lucky here in the opening 20 laps after bouncing off that outside wall out of turn number 2. He's now battling, though. That is the number 59 there of Nathan Henry. Henry getting to the inside. He'll be able to make the pass, and then it's going to be Chuck Darling there in car number 88, the Toys for Tots number 88. He is now going to start to apply the pressure. This is all the way back into the 23rd and 24th position for respectively for both of these drivers, and just behind them, that is Daryl Dilling, the driver that picked up the Flagman Graphics. Best paint, no sideways, a little contact. Here comes Dillon.
Yeah, Dylan going to make a nice move there to get into that spot as Nathan Henry gets away from that battle, but Pete Dillon got there. Chuck Darling and believe that was Ramsey kind of got stuck on each other. They did a masterful job to not get wrecked. But now Dillon and Darling side by side, and that's bringing in Connor Jones right there behind them. And car number 88, Jones, trying to make his way towards the front of this one. But meanwhile, back at the front, Kratacci leads, but he has got a back bumper full of the 44 of Zach Nichols, the Snowflake winner. He's got the broom, Roger. Can he sweep the Snowball Derby?
The younger kid, Al, I don't know if they know how to sweep.
That is true.
We're only playing with you guys out there, but yes, it is Jaden Kratacci out front. Nichols, Axum, Duncan, Gawker, the top 5 here with Hahn, Payne, Atkins, Murray, Leclerc, the top 10 here currently. 25 laps out of the 300 scheduled here tonight. Single file racing as these drivers have started to work themselves into that long run feel here. Al, we talked about being able to go around 125 or so laps. We did have a little slowdown to start this race, so maybe extend that a little bit farther. Still have 2 sets of tires down to put on these machines if these drivers were to want to come down and take them, if we get to that point, if and when.
Yeah, we're on board in the Premier Racing setups. On board camera looking out the back of your race leader as he's got his teammate, the 44 of Zach Nichols right there behind him, and the Ryan Kuhn entry, that would be Thomas Axum, the defending Snowball champion for the American Sim Racing Club, as they work here, as they work down the front stretch. And everyone kind of mind their P's and Q's, Roger. I think right now trying to settle in. We know it's a long race, right? We've alluded to that all in our pre-race show. It's a long race. You have to be there at the end. Right now, trying to figure out these race cars, we have to lay that rubber back down on the Five Flags Speedway, and you can already see that bottom groove really getting dark with 30 cars out there. And it's only 11 seconds from 1st to 30th, so we are going to get into lap traffic at some point, and that's where the race is going to get very interesting.
Yeah, and you talked about Thomas Axum sitting there into that 3rd position. Now, last night we got a chance to talk to him after the Snowflake 100, and he talked about that was the first race back. He's been off the service for a year here on iRacing. It's not easy, Al, to come out here after being out of the seat for so long to just hop in, go fast, and keep it on the track for 300 laps.
Yeah, and especially with a brand new computer, he said, got sponsored to him. He's got Ryan Kuhn up on the pit war wagon, and that's a good guy to have in your corner. Those familiar in the iRacing realm knows that name very well. He works very well with a lot of drivers out there. The RKM he's starting to feel some pressure though. Duncan, the driver out of Canada, starting to make his presence known right there behind them. Riley Duncan sits there in the 4th spot, car number 97.
2 groups of cars right now. We have the top 7 drivers who have started to pull away, and then you have this group back here, 8th, 9th, 10th, all kind of running nose to tail. Look like Atkins right now struggling a little bit with drive off on that number 11. Murray's right behind him. He's peeked underneath a couple times, just hasn't been able to get close enough to the, call it the fender there, to get that gentleman's move over here early on in this race. You're going to see it early, kind of a little forgive, a little take, you know. Later on in this race, it's going to be a whole lot of taking. As you can see, the 72 really roll onto the back bumper that time off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Gives him that release into 3, and you can just tell the 11 is fighting for drive off.
Yeah, last time by, Murray had ran the outside of 1 and 2. He had a good run and went to the inside as Atkins went to the middle in 3 and 4 like he does once again. This racetrack is such a rhythm racetrack. It's so fast. You have to get into your rhythm, hit those marks, and if you're getting pressured like that and the car is not to your liking, right now, as Atkins gets the outside wall, that's going to allow Murray to get to the inside. An unforced error on Atkins as he was getting the pressure by Murray. Murray to the inside. Can he make the pass? He's got Leclerc and Ferguson ready to go as well right there behind him. Is there door-to-door into turn number 3. Murray trying to pounce, works them up the racetrack, and Atkins going to have to roll out of it. Murray into the 8th spot, and he'll look to chase down those drivers as Atkins right back to the inside as Ferguson and now Leclerc going side by side. That is the battle for the 10th spot.
Working the inside here. He got the spot from Ollie Ferguson. Ollie going to actually fight back down to the inside here in turns 1 and 2. The Stealth Motorsports number 55 looking pretty sporty. He'll take the spot back from Leclerc, bumping Leclerc back into the 11th spot. Ferguson taking back 10th, but Atkins still battling that outside. That car is not to his liking, right up against the wall again, that time out of turn number 4 down the front straightaway. A little bit of a kiss to that passenger side of that number 11, and Al, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look that bad, just a scrape. These cars here tonight, we've seen 2 drivers really go out there, hit the outside wall, and they have been able to keep on ticking here tonight. The other driver that was up into the wall, Caleb Ramsey, he's way deep into the field now. Ramsey being scored back into the 27th position here. Out of the 30 drivers, as the first caution flag of the evening is flying.
Yellow flag coming out and not really seeing it on racetrack. Don't show anybody in trouble, Roger. So yellow flag coming out, and the iRacing.com pace truck will come out for the second time here this evening. We know that they can go about 120 laps if green flag laps were all counted. We know we had
believe, Al, if you look at the Valpo number 59 of Nathan Henry, he made a little contact. Sideways went the 59, and it was enough for the officials here tonight to throw the caution flag. That was down in turns 1 and 2. It was him and Chuck Darling that were battling side by side. Henry up the speedway just a little bit into the Toys for Tots entry. Sideways, but I do believe there's going to be very minimal damage because we've seen these drivers bounce off the outside retaining wall and keep on going. This one just a little scrape and a little slide, and other than the tires being worn maybe on Nathan Henry's number 59, everybody should be pretty good.
Yeah, and right now only one driver coming down pit road. That's the driver of the number 8, Zach Postma. He came down pit road, Roger. Not sure if he took tires or not. But remember, they only have a limited set of tires on pit road to make it this 300 laps, as Crotacci has led it since the green flag has dropped here this evening. Zach, Nicholas, Thomas Axum, Riley Duncan, and Jimmy Gawker, your top 5 currently in the Snowball Derby.
Fuel only for the number 8 of Zach Postma. So, Al, he still has tires left in the pits. He's just topped that machine off. So, trying to get that weight distribution for the 8 the way that Postma would like.
And not a bad call. Maybe a little off strategy from the guys in front of me. We know how it is, but tamed first 45 laps there, Roger. Yellow flag coming out on lap 43 for the first time for something other than rain. So radar looks clear the rest of the way. The lights are out. We are ready to go back green flag as they head towards the Postma Flooring restart zone. Laying the wood to the accelerator is Jaden Crotacci, and we are back underway.
Another great start there by Jaden, but then you see the 44 of Nichols. He's able to hang right onto the outside, side by side for the race lead. Down the back straightaway we go. The first time we have seen Crotacci have to try and defend for the race lead, and a new race leader put Zach Nichols to the point.
Zach Nichols to the point. Riley Duncan saw that work around the outside. He's up there. Look at the momentum on the outside. High, wide, and handsome. Riley Duncan to the number 2 spot. Crotacci digging hard to get back to the inside as they come off the corner. Crotacci, can he hold off Thomas Axum? Sees the outside. Brett the Jet cracking the top 5 for the first time this evening in that 71 car, and they're all working the outside. Roger, that inside lane maybe a little bit greasy. These older tires. Oh, Crotacci off the side of Duncan. Nice save. That might be the save of the race so far. Already 50 laps completed in the Snowball Derby.
Now they're going to go single file for 1 through 5. It'll be Nichols, Duncan, Crotacci, Axum, and Hahn, the top 5 drivers here. Brett under attack, though. He's got Murray and Gockert right behind him. Ferguson's right there. You got Atkins, Payne, the top 10 drivers. Right now, these drivers, Al, when we go caution flags, you see Brett kind of jet down to the inside. Sometimes the air pressures really start to play with these drivers. Caution flag here. Couple drivers around, and they're still coming in.
Big parking lot. Hayden Swink coming to a stop. The driver out of Woodstock, Georgia, sitting there. Up there, Steve Hoffman in the 86. Henry, I believe that's the 88 car of Connor Jones, moving on through. Everybody getting pointed back in the right direction, and we'll see what happened with that one as we'll watch the replay. Down in the turn 3 they went, and it happened in front of Swink. Swink was slowing up trying to get there, and Hoffman up and around. Not sure where that one
started. With the 97 of Nathan Lawrence there, Al. If you take a look at it, he got a little help from the 16 machine. Just slight contact into that right rear set, the 97 darting to the inside wall. And Ramsey going up to the outside wall, and everybody else just nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, and honestly, they were slowed down. That was good heads-up driving by those drivers as they had slowed down quite a bit. But Chuck Darling, Hayden Swank down on pit road. Darling going to lose a lap as he still sits in his pit stall. Now Boucher coming in along with Jones and Hoffman. So trying to get some damage fixed here as we take a close look at Hoffman's number 86. Down on pit road. Swank back out onto the racetrack. Boucher in the LaPlante Racing Products number 16 sits on pit road. Looks like putting some fuel, maybe fixing a little bit of that damage. Connor Jones's car rolls off of pit road as well. So unlike last night, Roger, you have to get out in front of that pace truck or you're going to be caught one lap down. Early enough, they do have the free passes on.
Remember, Al, though, these drivers, we are only 55 laps in here. These drivers that were wrapped up in that wreck, like Darling and Hoffman and Jones and Schwank, you do not have a quick repair. So what you got is what you got as we go back racing in a little sideways at the front of the field for Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan spinning the tires on the inside. More contact between himself and Kratacci. Kratacci trying to battle back on the outside. He will draw even with Duncan. More contact through 3 and 4. They're trying to get these tires there, and these tires hot, and the heat cycle is picking up the marbles around the racetrack as they do have the street sweepers coming out. But right now, these drivers side by side for the number 2 spot up to the door panel once again. Kratacci going to take that number 2 spot away from Duncan as they watch the number 44 of Zach Nichols out front. The Pied Piper picked up the LaPlante Racing Products Snowflake 101 last night. Well, I would say it was this morning, Roger, but by the time it was done, it was this morning.
That is true, and it was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for me to get myself to work this morning. As you see Brett Hahn here battling to the outside of him. That's the number 55 of Ollie Ferguson. Jimmy Gockert right there also. These drivers are all just kind of under a blanket tiptoeing around right now. Looking at the lap times, we've already fallen off about a half a second from these drivers' fastest times of the evening. So we're going to continue to watch those times here. Al, you alluded to it earlier, probably going to fall right around a second off to at the end of their run. One driver back down to the safety of pit road. That's the number 88 of Chuck Darling. So Darling down on pit road. It looks like his night went from bad to even worse. He's being scored 30th and off the raceway.
Yeah, tough break for the driver of the 88 there, Chuck Darling, as Atkins still stuck on the outside. A driver that was fast last night as that Preston Boris. Remember, Roger, he got pretty much destroyed in that Snowflake car. Thank God it wasn't this one, but that 29 car starting to make some moves towards the front of this one into the 12th spot as he works behind Atkins. He's brought the 3 of Smith with him as well, in the 15 of Joseph West. They're all there. Is there where the battles are around the racetrack. A little bit deeper, David Patton. How about that beautifully looking number 38 here, a longtime veteran of the American Sim Racing Club. as he works there in spot number 16 as they work around the racetrack. And that beautiful paint job that won best appearing here at the Snowball Derby. Daryl Dillon started 30th, up 12 spots to 18th.
That making moves, got in the show, and he's making it work here so far tonight, keeping it clean. You don't want to mess up that Wyman Graphics award-winning car out there, that is for sure. And Dillon is just taking care of it right now. Nichols is still the race leader, but he does have his teammate right behind him. Jaden Kurtachi is right there, hot to trot. Duncan has started to fade back. I'll call about a car length and a half, but I've noticed Duncan has started to move up farther and farther every time, opening up the entry into the corners. Look at him down here in turns 1 and 2, higher than both the race leaders by a whole car length, and then kind of exits off the corner just about a half a car length lower.
And you notice in Roger that the darkness on the racetrack, the shadows are starting to get a little bit longer, but the groove widening out here after that rain shower. We're really seeing the rubber get laid down. These drivers got to take care of it. I would say probably if we get a yellow flag after lap 100, we might see some drivers come down pit road and take some fresh rubber, as that green racetrack really going to grade these tires off. But up front, it has been hard racing as your top 5 drivers are Nichols, Kurtachi, Duncan, Axum, Murray, rounding out your top 5. And look at Jimmy Gawker. He's working the outside. And that is a nice looking race car. That number 2 car rolls the outside, trying to get a run on Ferguson. Ferguson has been methodically working up the racetrack as well, as he's followed Murray inside the top 10, and now knocking on the doorstep of a top 5.
Just got to put yourself in the position here. You're starting to run lighter on fuel. You're starting to wear out the tires as a possible 3 wide situation. Nope, we're going to funnel it back into 2 wide there. That was Gockert and Ferguson side by side. I thought for a moment they were going to go up there and get Aiden Murray stuck in the middle between those two. A little bit of sideways that time off of 4 for Jimmy Gockert. Able to hold that machine up underneath him. Brett Hahn has fallen back a couple positions here since that restart. He is now back to running in the 8th position. So Hahn maybe conserving, because we talked about it, Al. You got to stay there. You got to be there towards the end. So maybe that's what he is doing. But how about Preston Bohr side by side battling with the number 11 of Atkins, Layden Atkins there holding the 11th position. And I told you last night, Al, Preston's car, I love it. Absolute show up, blank quarter panels, blank hood, rolling in on an open trailer. That's what short track racing is about.
That's what it is, and he's trying to put a good show on there as he runs in the 12th spot as they work around a little bit deeper in the pack. Patton now working with Lawrence. That's the battle for the 15th spot as they are 2 by 2. They've got Dillon right to the back bumper as well, a gaggle of cars as they all work around there. It looks like Chuck Darling still on pit road. Roger, his derby might be coming to an end.
Another driver on pit road, Al. I noticed, I believe, oh, nope, scoring just updated. Must have been a transponder glitch. I was going to say TJ Hassan on pit road, but he is actually not. He is out there onto the raceway. But I was noticing, Al, if you go back, we get the camera crew to go back to that number 97 there of Nathan Lawrence. He was involved in that last caution flag. Remember, he was the driver that got put down onto the inside wall, smacked the left side of it up. If you take a look at the right front fender, though, that right front fender is caved in front of the tire. How much do you think that is starting to affect this driver of that number 97?
It's definitely going to take and hurt a little bit of the turn in there, but if they get a yellow flag, come down pit road, they should be able to pull that out fairly easy. That doesn't look like it's a terrible ding in there, but it's definitely hurting. There's one behind there. You see Daryl Dillon up the racetrack into the side of the 38. He's a little right side damage right behind that right front tire. Shouldn't hurt him too bad out there for the Dillon fans, but you definitely don't want any damage at this juncture of the race. Closing in on the 1/3 mark of this contest is up front. Zach Nichols leads it. Been our second leader of the evening. This is a gaggle, Roger. This is like rush hour on I-90. Is these cars all over the place.
81.
Well, 81's even. It's not that bad yet. I'm saving that for later.
That'll be next month for you, 81 from New York all the way down here to Harrisburg. But right now, the 7 getting all sorts of pressure from James. James had him sideways a moment ago. That Ford Home Alone entry down to the inside. They're going to rub door panels once again. They could have exchanged hand signals at that point here. This is racing all the way back in 17th, 18th, and 19th, race fans. They're racing this hard right now because they know your race leaders are starting to close in. They are about 2 corners behind right now on the speedway. So if we continue to stay green as we are, your race leader, Zach Nichols, is really going to start to get into that lap traffic, and then the race is going to be on.
Yeah, we're going to go on board with the LaPlante Racing Products. You can see the back of the field right there. TJ Hassan will be the first one that he catches. They're on the same straightaway right now. Lap traffic is absolutely going to come into play here tonight as your race leader works off turn number 2 and down the backstretch. And he has opened up a gap over Kurtachi almost a second as Nichols has really got the long run car battle there working. Is now the Ferguson, Ollie Ferguson putting pressure on Jimmy Gawker. Gawker still working the outside, and he's kind of committed up there, Roger. He's been racing that outside lane since the green flag has stopped, and he is trying to shove that Bucky's number 72 tail piece through the front of the 72. He is all over it like a cheap suit.
A cheap suit, that is what I wear every day, Al. But these drivers are way more fancier than that cheap suit, especially Ferguson. He's working the bottom. He's been able to make it work. It's just coming off the corner. He goes to lean on that right rear. We're 88 laps into this run. That right rear has been taking abuse. You can see it from that camera angle, all the marbles that have shredded off these tires here tonight. And they're everywhere. They're not just up top there. They're down on the apron here, and that's where he's trying to put those left side tires. The left side tires picks up the marbles, and just like that, the caution lights are on for the number 88 of Connor Jones. He is around down in turns 1 and 2. Everybody will split him.
Connor Jones going to come and bring out our 4th yellow flag of the Snowball Derby presented by Postma Flooring as Jones sits here waiting for the field to roll by in a clear spot to get going, and a tough break for the 88 fast race cars. He was all by him lonesome as we look at this down in the turns 1 and 2. Got down in the apron, upset the race car into the marbles that went and around it spun with the leaders coming. Has to hit the hooks and kind of sit there as it brings out our 4th yellow flag. A single car spin. And he's still spun on the back stretch. We come back to live photos. Not sure what happened there. No takers at pit road. We kind of find that surprising. As I say
That's what I was looking at, Al. I was wondering if anybody in the top 5 was going to come. Nobody in the top 5. Nobody in the top 10. First driver outside the top 10 to come down was the number 29 of Preston Boers. He will come down. He'll bring along, I believe that is the number 38 of Dave Patton. He's also down on pit road. And a slew of other drivers currently not seeing a lot of 4-tire stops. Some right tires going on a couple of these cars. Fuel for a bunch of them. And a damage for a lot of these drivers trying to get beat and popped back out.
Yeah, Preston Boers is going to take his first set of tires, and pretty close to that half or that 1/3 mark being completed as we close in on lap number 100 of the scheduled 300. Now we do have the possibility of overtime, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now we're looking very good.
Why did you even go for the overtime thing? I talked about the fog, and then we had the fog and rain delay, and now you're talking about overtime already. We're not there.
All right. Well, no, we're not even close. We're closing in on the 1/3 mark. I don't have to be up and on an airplane back to work at 4 a.m. like you, Roger. Tomorrow.
It's going to be rough, that is for sure. But what's also rough is some of these drivers got trapped a lap down as they came down pit road to put their tires on and fuel. They had a couple of those, we're calling them athletes like you and I out there changing the tires. So right now, Jones and I believe it's just Jones that went a lap down, unfortunately, for Connor Jones.
Yeah, Connor Jones. It looks like David Patton down a lap maybe as they're into the Postma Flooring restart zone. Nichols on the inside spins the tire. That's going to allow Kratachi to draw even to the outside. Thomas Axum. Look at Murray up there almost going into that third lane. I think we're going to see 3 grooves of racing as this track continues to widen out. 2 by 2 for the first 2 rows off of turn number 4. Nichols will lead it at the line, but Kratachi holding tight on the outside. He's got a good run this time off turn number 2. He draws even, put the 11 out front by a bumper cap into turn number 3.
Side by side through 3 and 4, and their drag race it to the line. Give Jaden Kratachi back the race lead, but they are lined up 2 by 2 for the top 4 positions here tonight as we inch closer to lap 100. Axum just keeping an eye to the outside, and you saw it on that restart. Murray, how big of a lane jump he did there, because he came down into turn 1. He was on the inside, and he just made a hole there right in front of Jimmy Gockard in car number 2, because he knew that he needed to get to the outside, because if you were stuck on the bottom, you're going to chew the tires up, and unfortunately, you might slip backwards here at the line. Another drag race just by one of my hairs on the top of my head. Give it to the number 11 of Jaden Kratachi. He's still the race leader, but a good battle for the race lead just between these 2 teammates. A Cadillac to the inside and a Toyota. Roger, how does that make any sense? 2 teammates driving a Cadillac and a Toyota for the lead.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. We'll have to talk to them about that in the garage area afterwards. Right now, Kratachi going to use that outside lane. He's going to retake the race lead as he'll take the lead across the line to start lap 100. And right there, we saw Nichols last night use that outside restart almost on every restart. Maybe do a little testing, see what that inside was about. Did spin the tires once they got into that restart zone. That allowed Kratachi to hold them onto the inside, got them pinched down, and now Kratachi to the race lead. Murray, and Duncan making contact, 3 wide. Back here, they're going to live to see another day. More contact between Murray and Duncan.
You can see my face right now. I look like the beaver on the back of that number 72, and it is not done. Still more contact there between the number 97 and Murray up the track. They're 2 wide again for the spot. Now Murray making a little contact going into 3, rubbing his racing. And boy, you saw the flames out the right-hand side of both those machines. It is going to be Riley Duncan, though, coming out looking like a rose right now, because Murray's now locked in a side-by-side battle, because here comes Jimmy Gockard again down to the inside.
Yeah, Gockard to the inside. He's bringing Ollie Ferguson in that 55 automobile as they work here, and a little bit of contact between them. You don't think short track is close, hard-nosed racing, you haven't seen anything. Just imagine, Roger, another 196 laps to go, and they're already racing like this on lap 104. It is going to be a barn burner here tonight for the Postma Flooring Snowball Derby for the American Sim Racing Club. As we watch these great battles, everyone taking a deep breath, maybe getting talked down by their spotters. Hey, take it easy on each other. It doesn't mean anything right now. Let's just get some laps. But we're closing in on that window. I know we've had some yellow flags, so I have a feeling that these race leaders can probably make it till around lap 130, 140, but they are going to have to come in for fuel from what we were told earlier today in the garage area.
Yeah, that's coming soon, and I can tell you right now, Aiden Murray would love to see another caution flag and possibly be able to bring the Buc-ee's travel stop number 72 to pit road, because we talked about it earlier. I believe it was the number 97 of Nathan Lawrence who had the damage on the right front fender. The 72 now, from all that rubbing and racing and contact and everything that went on there, he now has some damage on that right front that could affect him here on that long run. That car is starting to fade back now. Ollie Ferguson has opened up about a 3, almost a 4 car length gap as they are side by side just behind the number 72 of Murray.
Absolutely. Now Brett Hahn underneath Leclerc. That's the battle for the 9th spot. As Hahn will get there as Leclerc gets turned sideways. Yellow flag going to come out as we've got trouble. Noah Boucher saw Steve Hoffman going to get through as Leclerc trying to get going back in the right direction, but that left front, Roger, seems to be broken. He's going to have to take the toe to pit road, and a tough break for a driver that was running inside the top 10 as Leclerc has brought out our 5th yellow flag of the Snowball Derby.
Yeah, hard racing there. We were talking about that general area of the drivers running, and A little contact there between the 11 of Landon Atkins and Leclerc, and then unfortunately Leclerc getting hit there as he spun around, which broke that left front wheel.
That front wheel coming there as we've got some takers on pit road. Thomas Axum coming down pit road as he will head to his attention of his pit crew. Your top two, Crotacci and Nichols, though, they stay out onto the racetrack. But a big number of cars right now coming down pit road.
Yeah, so these drivers are putting tires on their machines. I see them jumping around down there, trying to get all the lugs tight. Down and away goes Thomas Axum, and he will put fresh tires on that number 22 here tonight, or 13. I forget what number he has at this point. There's an overlay, Al.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 13. That's what he registered for, but came in as the 22. Playing jokes on us, that's all.
Yeah, they always get me with that one.
David Patton going to get the free pass and get back onto the lead lap with car number 38. So he will get back on the lead lap as Jaden Crotacci still leads here as we take a look at our race data. Working lap number 112 of 300. Jaden Crotacci is your race leader. We've had 5 yellow flags along with a red flag for rain. And we've had one lead change here tonight between Jaden and Zach Nichols. So those have been our race leaders.
Going to be interesting here, Al, as we double them back up because, well, Thomas Axum comes back out, the first driver that came to pit road here on lap 110, and he's got the fresh tires. Everybody else ahead of him on those older, worn-out tires. They have yet to come to pit road for Crotacci, Nichols, Ferguson, Duncan, Payne, Hahn. Green flag back into the air. We're going to see how it all plays out.
A good start by Crotacci. It looked like Nichols maybe sleeping, probably working together, as I would have to call it. But he's got Ollie Ferguson to the right rear now. Didn't quite get him cleared as they close back in on the 11 of Crotacci. Good to see Kenneth Sickles out there. Ken, good to see you, buddy. Once again, one of our great watchers and fans of the American Sim Racing Club, rooting on the No Chance Motorsports drivers of Crotacci and the 44 of Zach Nichols up at the front of this one. Roger, those drivers that just came down pit road like Axum and those drivers, they really got to mind their P's and Q's. They are going to be quicker. They know they're going to got to get through the field. But right now, we know there's pit stops. We know the drivers up front in front of them have to come down pit road. Now it's starting to get into the strategic, the chess game of a long race as such as the Snowball Derby, that we're going to start to see the strategies unfold here throughout the night. And it's, if you have a pen and paper at home, it might be fun to follow along with those strategies.
I'm continuously watching the Thomas Axum machine because last time by he was actually slower than your race leader of Jaden Crotacci, who is out front currently. Last time by it was a 16.93. Let me see. It's going to update a 16.94 for Jaden, who is out front. Axum, who is running back into the 12th position, who came down with fresh tires, a 17.05 second lap. That tells me that Thomas Axum is not giving it all he has right now. He put the new tires on now, and he's holding it like a brand new baby that you just gotta be very gentle with.
How about Ollie? Absolutely, and you gotta came in, got a read on those tires from his tire specialist on pit road, saying, "Hey, you pushed it a little too hard to go a long run." Well, maybe right now we're seeing the fruits of that labor. These drivers, a lot of communication. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit. You're starting to see the flags move a little bit more in the infield there as they work, as Crotacci leads over Ferguson, Nichols, Payne, and Hahn, your top 5. Riley Duncan and the 29 of Preston Boers. Don't sleep on that 29, Roger. We saw the speed in that car. Did not have a qualifying effort that we thought it was going to have. Contact as Hahn gets in the back of his teammate of Andrew
That all
Payne.
came from Zach Nichols there, Al. Nichols got sideways. Everybody behind him checked up. Brett was the one that kind of took the blunt force of that, if you will, and now he's up the speedway. He's got the number 29 of Boers down below him, so just one bobble stacked the entire group up, and they were able to make it work, but Hans now got to get back on the loud pedal as you see the number 93 of Payne sideways that time off turn 2, and he's sideways entering turn number 3 also. It's just stacking Han and Boers up behind him.
It is, and he's right there, Duncan to the in front of him as we are on board with the LeBlanc Racing Products onboard camera. And Han working the outside with that QuickTime Motorsports Media. Boers rolls the bottom a little bit, but with a nice run to the outside. I'm really impressed with how even the lanes seem to be at this juncture of the race. We're only 25 laps away from the halfway point already, Roger.
Yeah, and Al, you talk about the 2 lanes here as we watch the Boers machine and Payne running side by side, or not Payne, sorry, Duncan side by side there. Duncan actually came down pit road on lap number 90. He put 4 tires on that number 29, so they have used up one of their allocated tires here tonight as the caution flag is out once again here at the Five Flag Speedway.
Joseph West around on the backstretch, and the number 15 car. Some heavy right front damage to the sniper number 15, and I assume he'll be coming to meet there as the yellow flag comes out, and that'll be Landon Atkins. There's your front runners start, your leaders coming down pit road, Roger.
Yeah, they're going to come to the pit road to the service of their crews. So your race leader, Jaden Kratacci, down pit road. We'll see if he takes 4 or 2 as he slides into his pit stall here. Right side going up into the air. So it's going to be at least right sides for him. Andrew Payne staying out here. Boers staying out. Han, James, Gockert, Axum, Dylan, and all those drivers have stayed out here under this caution flag. It looks like 2 tires for your race leader.
So Andrew Payne, Preston Boers, like you said, Roger, he came in lap number 90, and Brett Hahn. So your 2 drivers, Payne and Hahn, that are sitting 1 and 3 currently, are the only drivers that have not come down pit road as of yet. And we figured yellow flags, they could stretch it a little bit more than what we were told. This is our 6th yellow flag of the event.
How far is too far here tonight?
I think it depends if we don't get that a yellow flag. Like if you have to come down for green flag pit stops, that's pretty much the end of your race. I would assume you're going to lose multiple laps there. As Joseph West comes out, let's take a look here. As the truck says they got it queued up, and he was racing with the 11 of Atkins, and just around he went and backs it hard into the outside retaining wall, Roger. So a little bit of contact between West and Atkins. That was the reason for the yellow flag.
It does look like it'll be Andrew Payne and Preston Boers on the front row. Payne will choose the inside lane here, having some issue with a little bit of the scoring and timing here once again at the Five Flag Speedway. Drivers not quite in their position. Race control trying to get them all sorted out. So while we have just a couple of seconds here, race fans, we got to thank you tonight here for tuning in to the Turn 3 Racing Network to watch the American Sim Racing Club. It's the Snowball Derby here, presented by Postma Flooring. We thank you, race fans, for tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, hit the notification button, get the notification anytime we come live. Al always behind the microphone here with the American Sim Racing Club. Me, I'm just along for the ride here tonight and enjoying some great racing as we're green flag racing once again here at Five Flag Speedway.
A good launch by Payne on the inside. It's the first restart where we've seen the leader, and immediately back to yellow flag here.
Big trouble here on the front straightaway. Out parking lot, West Jones, and I believe I can't see the other car down there, but problems.
Looked like Boucher in their heavy front end damage. The LeBlanc Racing Products number 16. Unfortunately, putting that scaphoid wrist device in use there. We'll take a look here and see. Oh, the 88 got loose, and oh boy, heavy contact there, Roger. Airborne for two of the three cars.
Everybody was coming there and just wrong place, wrong time for the 16. I just watched it back on my own monitor over here, and it made me it made me jump once again. West definitely getting the worst end of that. Those three drivers, a lot of damage, and they are not going to be able to make it back to pit road on their own. So they're going to take the virtual hook back there.
Yeah. So West and Jones down there. Noah Boucher as well as heavy contact and. Roger, that might spell the end of it, but how about Joey Lamb? He's like, I'll take a quick yellow flag, get back on the lead lap. That's going to give us, I believe, 22 cars on the lead lap that are the drivers out on the racetrack right now. Do a little house cleaning. It looks like Chuck Darling has called it a night. The 33 of Ty Leclerc has pulled the car 33 behind the car, unable to get repaired. Come back out, so he'll unfortunately finish in that 29th position. We'll see if the guys can get to work on Jones's, West, and Boucher's car, but those cars seem to be pretty torn up. That was some heavy hits here at the Five Flag Speedway.
Like we should be getting the 1 to go marker this time by your race leader. Andrew Payne choosing the inside lane. A couple drivers coming out of pit road, sneaking out just ahead of the pace truck. That is going to be Stephen Hoffman and Hayden Schwank. They will both rejoin in 21st and 22nd. We're ready to go. 2x2 Al. The lights are turned off by the switch of the iRacing.com pace truck.
That they are. You sure it's not a faulty wire in that Chevy?
Nope, it's a switch.
Okay. Into the Postma flooring restart zone. Green flag is back out. Another good launch by Andrew Payne on the inside. As Boris now has the 71 to contest with on the inside. Boris working the outside. Is everyone side by side there from second on back. Andrew Payne liking it. Trying to lead that halfway. Trying to find in my notes. I don't think there was a halfway bonus.
See one out, but I can't read them from Pennsylvania. But what I can tell you is the pictures that I see on the screen, and that's the 71 of Hahn trying to get the second spot. That Dodge Challenger, the highest running Dodge, well, we're calling them stickers here tonight on the field, as he is one of the two drivers that have yet to come to pit road. Remember, Boris came down on lap number 90, so he's got a little bit fresher rubber on that number 29. A little contact there between Boris and Hahn, that time on the exit of turn number 4. Both drivers keep them pointed into the right direction. Jimmy Gockert right now sitting in 4th. He's just trying to figure out which lane is going to go, because that's the lane he wants to go with. And then it's James Axum, Jeff Dillon, Jaden Kratacci, who was your race pole center here tonight. He's sitting back into the 8th spot after coming down to pit road. He is the highest running driver that had put tires on lap number 128. All the drivers ahead of him either didn't pit or came down on 110 or lap 90.
And they're working there. Nichols working the outside as well. Oh, we got trouble on the front stretch. I believe that was the 38 of David Payton. We stay green. But heavy contact, and the car continues to roll. But a tough break for the driver of the 38 car, and seems to be okay, but he slapped that outside concrete pretty hard.
Yeah, he's got to go from inside the top 10. He was battling with Daryl Dillon at the time, and now Dave is way back into the 22nd position. The front right is caved in a little bit, but the car seems to be all right otherwise. But we'll see how much damage really. We can't see underneath the car if anything's bent, twisted, or ready to fall off at all. But out front, it is Payne, Boers, Gockert, and Hahn. That's the top 4. Axum kind of locked in a battle here. That's Jaden Kratacci to the outside of Axum. Remember, they battled at the front, and now they're one car around. The 7 of Daryl Dillon going around down to the corner. That will draw the 8th caution flag here of the evening at the Five Flags Speedway, slowing the Snowball Derby down just a little bit. It could be perfect for Andrew Payne and Brett Hahn, who have not come to pit road.
Yeah, I would expect that we would see those drivers. Let's take a look here to see what happened with the 7. He was racing with the 52 of Dillon. Looked like. Let's take a look here. Him and the 97 of Nathan Lawrence. Lawrence on the left rear is Payne will come down and come back to live pictures as your top two finally will come down pit road. Hahn and Payne. They're going to be mirrored at the back, Roger. 22 cars on the lead lap. We know David Payton coming down. It looks like Landon Atkins should be the recipient of the free pass, assuming no contact. And there you see him, the 11 roll on the high side to get back onto the lead lap. So they'll give us 23 cars on the lead lap here this evening in the Postma Flooring Snowball Derby for the American Sim Racing Club. Hope you're enjoying this one as we close in on the halfway point. It's hard to believe, Roger, already about an hour into this race after the rain delay, we're at the halfway point.
Been a good race so far. 8 caution flags. This is the 8th one that we are working. Couple drivers have pulled it to the infield here tonight. Chuck Darling, Ty Leclerc, Connor Jones, Joseph West, and I believe Noah Boucher have all called it an evening pretty much here tonight. Unfortunate for those drivers as their 2026 Snowball Derby run is not going to end the way that they thought coming in. But hey, there's always next year. That's the greatest part.
It is always another chance, always another race, another season. This league runs pretty much year-round, a couple different types of racing series. Tight-knit group of drivers and great turnouts. So if you're looking for a place to call home, if you're a racer watching in here tonight, a lot of these drivers, they're regulars. And it looks like they called the restart off this time. But you can head on over to Facebook and reach on out to the American Sim Racing Club if you're interested in becoming a driver with them.
Think they'll let me in, Al?
I would assume so, Roger. I mean, I'll vouch for you that you don't know how to drive, but
I can always count on you, Al. You're the best.
I know.
Lights seem to be out this time. I believe last time it was a couple drivers in the mid-pack weren't quite tucked up and ready to go, so they figured let's throw the caution flag, get them squeezed in here as the green flag is back out. Halfway home at the line as we are racing into one.
In the 1 2x2 all the way through the first 3 rows. Gawker trying to work the outside of Boers. He's got about 20 lap fresher tires, but with these heat cycles, not sure how much it matters right now. Gawker will lead at the line over Boers. Axum up to the 3rd spot, and he has got Nichols and James in tow. Kurtachi working their way back towards the front of this one as well. Jimmy Gawker, one of those No Chance Motorsports drivers as well. We know they've got speed in those cars. So how's that work, Roger? We've got a Chevy, a Toyota, and a Caddy. I guess Cadillac is part of Chevy.
I'm glad you caught it because as soon as you said it, I went, I didn't catch that in my pit walk. I didn't see that in the notes here tonight. It's like a Rick Ware Racing out there. Whatever kind of nose piece you get, you just throw the decal on it, and here we go.
Yeah, they're all fast.
That's the crazy part about it, wouldn't you think?
It is but 2x2. How about that? The 15 of James stuck to the inside as he works underneath there. Trent Smith starting to roll towards the front of that black and green number 3. Been inside the top. Oh, a little bit of a squeeze play there. Macaulay Culkin, he looked shocked there, Roger, but I don't know. We've seen the movies. Was that on purpose?
Yeah, it's just kind of drawing them in, trying to lure them, make them think something else is going on.
That's right. No, we know that wasn't on purpose, but the racing is getting fierce here. Just past the halfway point, Jimmy Gawker leads over Boris Axum Nichols and Kurtachi, your top 5. That's how they work around the speedway. Single file all the way around as they work here. 25 cars still on the speedway. 26th through 30th all on pit road or behind pit wall. The tough break is now. Here comes Nichols. He'll swing to the outside. Say, knock, knock, I'm coming through, Thomas. As Thomas Axel works to the inside, he's going to have Kurtachi roll by him on the outside as well. So Axel will go from 3rd to 5th in a matter of a lap. He'll tuck it back in line, but it's still a long ways to go. Almost like a regular Saturday night showdown race, or Wednesday nights and Thursdays when ASRC races.
I just heard over the one-way radio the spotter for the number 22 telling him move over. The other two drivers have a lot of speed coming behind him, and they didn't want to get ran over. The tire difference is about almost, call it 18 laps difference. Axum trying to save it a little bit, and those other two are pushing really hard right now. So that game of cat and mouse going on here with drivers that have pitted and trying to save, and drivers that pitted and are trying to go.
At the iron right now, they're stacked up behind Boers as Gawker opens up the race lead to a 1 second advantage as we watch this battle rage on for the number 2 spot as Nichols will swing to the outside. You see him working that steering wheel. Can he make it stick off of the corner? He gets to the right rear quarter panel of Boers. Boers down low. Here comes Nichols. He's going to draw even, move Nichols into the number 2 spot. But he's got to make up 1.2 seconds here with 135 laps to go. And, well, that's an easy way of making it up. The yellow flag will fly. And I believe it's for the 88 of Michael Deitch. Deitch going around in turn 1 to bring out our yellow flag here. Take a quick look at it. He was loose all the way down the straightaway, and it looks like Lawrence nowhere to go. Gets him finished off, and that'll bring out the yellow flag. We'll go on board looking out the backside, and he was already in a four-tire slide, Roger, down the front straightaway. That could have been much bigger than what it was. Just a single car incident. Well, I guess 2 cars if you count Nathan Lawrence's there, and he'll bring the Hershey Kisses 97 on pit road. Great looking race car. That Moza Motorsports number 97. David Payton coming down pit road as well, try to get some more of that damage fixed.
Well, did you notice we started in pure daylight here at the Five Flag Speedway? Then we got that rain shower. The sun came back out, dried it up here in Pensacola. You know it's Florida. You're going to see a rain shower here or there sometime through the day. Now, though, the lights are on all around the speedway. The sweepers have been out there to clean some of those marbles up, but the shadows are just about pretty much gone.
Yeah, we're going to get into the transition into the nighttime period, Roger. I did notice turn 3 and 4, the shadows have gotten longer. The sun looking like it's starting to go down. Funny how that happens.
Well, I mean, I guess it happens when the sun goes down behind the trees and the horizon. It kind of gets a little bit darker, but nothing like a sunset here virtually at the Pensacola, Florida for the Five Flag Speedway.
It's beautiful. We take a look here at the Five Flag. Packed house. Couldn't shoehorn another person in here. I bet you Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s somewhere on the premises here at the Five Flag Speedway.
He's always taken in the Snowball Derby somewhere, lurking, trying to find the next greatest talent. Is one of the next greatest talents that you are going to see on the Cars Tour or the NASCAR Big Tour? You never know. These drivers all are gunning for something with a little seat time here on iRacing.
That they are as the field rolls there into the restart zone. On board with your race leader. Green flag is back out and a good start. And here comes Kurtachi. Kurtachi going to try to swing to the outside. Can't quite get there on Nichols. Oh, hard contact the outside wall. I believe that was James. Axum swings it down low. That stacks up the outside. Ollie Ferguson trying to get going on the outside as well. Look at Andrew Payne rolls the outside. Remember, he came down. He's got the freshest tires out of all those drivers up there. We look at the pit strategy. Payne, 24 laps since he went on pit road. Everyone else, 60-plus laps. Well, 43. Oh, trouble for Payne as we're talking about him. Yellow flag coming and a big stack up and a lot of big-name drivers in there. Andrew Payne's car.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Ramsey, Dillon, Lamb.
Hans heavy
A
front
lot
end
of 'em.
damage. Oh boy, let's dissect this one. Down in the corner. Stacked up. Oh, Caleb James got in the outside wall. Ferguson had nowhere to go. And the 93 gets tagged. Trent Smith goes around. Hard contact between Han and them. Trent Smith going around, up and over. Henry. Oh, heavy hit there. Roger. Some big names involved in this one. Some heavy favorites. As they have to come down pit road. Brett Hahn has stayed out with the 71, but that car has seen better days. As Caleb James caught the outside wall there, Roger, and they just stacked up behind him. That's how hard, tight it is. That split hair decision making, and it just caused a little bit of a hiccup.
That's all it takes here is just a little slip by one of these drivers, and everybody has nowhere to go. Those outside walls, they will always reach out and grab you. It's hard, especially if you're running mid-pack. You can't see around the driver in front of you. You might hear the one-way radio, somebody yelling, car around, but you don't really know where it is. You don't know where to go, and then you run out of real estate. And then we're in this predicament where a lot of good cars have just been torn up here tonight at the Five Flying Speedway, where they are not going to be in contention anymore. They may still be out onto the speedway, but they are not going to have the same full song and dance like Andrew Payne, who is running towards the front of the field. He's involved in this one, that quick time media, number 93. The whole rear end is taken off. There's no spoiler. There's no rear bumper on that car. The car, once he gets out onto the speedway, is going to have no rear downforce. It's only going to have a side force, and you really need to have downforce to go into these corners.
That you are, and it's going to be tough to see as we get ready to go into the restart zone. The Postma Flooring restart zone. Green flag is up, and we are back at it. 125 laps to go. It is time to put up or shut up. A sprint race to the end. This is a normal Saturday night showdown length right now. With 125 laps to go, and your top three cars get single file. Boers back to the fourth spot. Riley Duncan has rallied into the top five, and we'll see what kind of pace Hahn has as Atkins in the 97 of Lawrence make contact. How about Daryl Dillon inside the top 10? He is your best appearing car here by the Flagman Graphics.
Yeah, he got in by the Flagman Graphics provisional here, Al. He had to start on the tail of the field, and he is making every lap count here tonight. As you see the sun kind of peeking out just a little bit here now, kind of those last ditch efforts by that sun, but side by side the 11 there just trying to hold off. That is the number 97 of Nathan Lawrence to the outside, and damage on both those machines. Damage on Brett Hahn, that's just in front of them. And how about Axum just kind of being stuck here? They got a little loose that time, snapped loose out of 4.
Yeah, and those drivers in front of them really leaning on each other, but he knows, Axum knows that the front runners, the top three cars, no slouches here. With all these yellow flags, I guess the question is, are they going to be able to go the distance? 119 laps to go. I assume that everyone's going to have to pit at least one more time. Maybe not. Hahn made it to halfway with those yellow flags.
Also, Al, coming down on lap number 166, and Thomas Axum was 173. That is when they came to pit road. So very questionable. They're right there on the borderline. A little bit of a slip that time by the number 71 of Brett Hahn up the speedway. He went. Thomas Axum got around him. Now here comes Nathan Lawrence again. He looks like he's going to get around the number 71 of Brett Hahn. Front end damage. I don't think that car is up to full song and dance for that number 71. The jet is not flying by you. He is pulling the parachute.
Yeah, he took a hard lick there, and you got to believe that that car is wounded. Is up front, Gawker, Nichols, and Kurtachi have opened up a little bit of a lead over Boers. Boers has a gap as the battle is now between Duncan and Thomas. And Thomas Axum He has turned the wick up, Roger. Last time by, he ran one of the quicker laps on the racetrack, a 16.6, while everyone else was a 16.8 or slower.
So 1/10 of a second off the fastest lap time here tonight for these drivers. So now that he's got a little bit of clean air before he rolls into the back end of the number 29 of Preston Boers, trying to lay down some qualifying laps, and you can tell he's got fresher rubber by almost actually about 80 laps on Boers and that number 29. So Boers holding on. Axum's going to make quick work, I would expect here. As you see him go right to the bottom. Boers saw Axum coming, and he just went right on by.
It's a heavyweight battle at the front of this one. Gawker, Nichols, Kratachi, and Axum. Those are your top four. Boers back to the 5th spot. Riley Duncan sits 6th. Lawrence 7th. Atkins up to the 8th spot. Hahn's been dispatched to the 9th spot. And then Dylan running in P number 10. It's a plus 20 for him. He's got my vote for the hard charger of the race.
Now look at that number 86, though, of Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman was involved in one of the early wrecks here tonight. He spent a good portion of this race a lap down. Now he's battling to try and get into the top 10 if he can just get around the number 71 of Brett Hahn, who Hahn has dropped to the bottom side of the speedway. It is just not going for Brett the Jet here tonight, as he is now going to fall outside the top 10 as soon as the 86 there makes his way on by. Ollie Ferguson also, he was involved in that wreck. He has now fallen all the way back to the 12th position. There's Joey Lamb. Lamb was a lap down for a lot of this race, got trapped under the caution flag down on pit road. Then you see the number 15 of Case James. Hayden Schwank is now outside the top 10. He went for a slide. I don't see that much damage done to that Austin Martin stickered up, labeled up number 35 for the Swank Motorsports number 35.
No, he's looking there, and this track relatively usually good for Swink as we close in on lap number 200. It'll be 100 laps to go in just a short period of time. Swink, one of those drivers, though, Roger, that you don't talk about him for most of the race, and the next thing you know, we get there. But Axum now to second, Roger. We missed the passes up at the front of this one, but the number 13 or 22 of Axum to second after our charge, and he ran them down and just dispatched of them very quickly.
Turn 4 out, number 7 of Daryl Dillon going around 360 and no kick flip. The driver that was running into the 10th position. We stay green, damage to the back end of that number 7. Dylan going to keep on ticking here. I'll look back, Al. Let's see if the truck actually finds it. But I'll look back here myself real quick on my monitor. Hit the rewind. Problems with the number 11 and the 7 making contact, both slapping the inside wall to pit road. Both drivers, though, able to keep going.
Yeah, take a look at that incident there to kind of check up. And, yeah, Barney must have been watching something else as he did not trigger that yellow flag like he has there. 19 cars still on the lead lap. The last car on the lead lap is the driver of the number 41, TJ Hassan. Hassan working underneath Caleb Ramsey. But meanwhile, up front, things are starting to heat up. Thomas Axum is coming, Roger.
Axum, Al, you talked about how we missed the pass there for the second position. Axum has the fresher tires out of the Kratachi and the Nichols and the Gawker group. So when he got to Jaden and Nichols, they just kind of rolled over and said, hey, you let us go earlier. There's still a lot of racing left. You can go ahead. You go get it.
And he is on him right now and closing in on this battle. Just under 100 laps to go. They have opened up a gap over Kratachi and Nichols.
Yeah, and it's going to get good here in just a couple of seconds because now that gap between 1 and 2, call it one single car length. one single car length. And now you got to wonder, though, Jimmy Gawker, does he go into conservation mode because he pitted on lap 110, so he's almost at, well, 100 laps out there on the speedway. We have had many caution flags. He is not going to be able to make it stretch all the way to lap 300. So now what do, Al? You know you got the 22 of Axum there bearing down on you for the race lead. Do you just let him go, or do you try and hold him up, and then, well, see where the dominoes kind of fall?
I think if you're Gawker right now, you kind of got to make that car wide as possible. Make Axum use up the good on those tires, as they're going to get in the lap traffic. They're closing in on Caleb Ramsey's number 13 car. Ramsey runs there right in front of your race leaders. He'll bow out of the way. Good sportsmanship there out of Ramsey as your top two flash on by.
Yeah, and here comes Axum now. He's looking down to the inside, has a little bit of a run. Gawkert's going to open up. He's going to give him the bottom side. We've seen a lot of these drivers try to go down there, and then they start to slide out of turns 2 and 4 as they can't get the power down there. You saw it, Axum not able to get the power down out of turn 4, so he will hold serve into that second position, see if he can mount another run as the sun starts to peek its head here right for one of the final times here before it starts to really taper off and go away for the evening.
That they are as they work around this racetrack. Your top two, nose to tail. 1.7 over your fast time. The Hoosier Fast Time Award recipient, Jaden Kratachi, runs there in spot number 3. And they have pulled away from Zach Nichols. So Nichols' car going away in the later stages of this race, or this run right now. But Axum kind of stalled out his run, maybe just keeping pace, saving those tires a little bit. Knows he can go a little bit distance. He is the defending Snowball Derby champion for the ASRC. Would like to go back to back. Right now has a great shot at it as he runs in spot number 2. And that Bernie's Liquor number 22 of Thomas Axum. Gawker still leads over Axum, Kratachi, Nichols, and Borges, your top 5.
And another good moment there. TJ Hassan moving over for the race leaders of Gawker and Axum. They let him go on by. One driver coming to pit road. He wants nothing to do with the race leaders. That's Landon Atkins. He'll pull the number 11 to pit road. A lot of damage on his machine. He was having a lot of problems trying to keep that car underneath him here in the last couple of laps. So his night not going the way he wanted it to. He was running right around the 10th position, got wrapped up in that big wreck, and then the car too damaged to really put it up towards the front of the field, so he'll pull it down, see if they can fix anything, maybe get back out for a couple of laps, but the battle for the race lead is still on. Gawker, Axum at the front here, 1 and 2. You got to go all the way back here to the 10th position to find another battle that is side by side. That is going to be Joey Lamb. There's Case James. He is trying to get the home alone, number 15 Ford Fusion to the inside of the 81. Remember, this is the battle for the 9th and the 10th position here on the speedway. Both drivers are not on the same tire strategy. 110 there for James, and lap 173 there for the driver of the 81 of Joey Lamb.
We talked about strategy, Roger. We are in a long green flag run, and right now only 19 cars on the late racetrack as Caleb Ramsey brings the number 16 to pit road. That's going to leave 18 cars on the racetrack. We'll see if Ramsey comes back out. But these drivers like Gawker up at the front of this one came in on lap number 110. We've had a handful of yellow flags. Was that enough to save it? Save enough fuel, save enough tire to get to the end of it? Right now, Axum 175 on pit road. I have a sneaky feeling he is good to go on fuel to the end of this one. It is questionable if you came in probably before lap 150. If you're going to make it the distance.
Yeah, and especially the lap times have fallen off here. Looking at them, we are almost a full second off fast times for a lot of these drivers out onto the speedway. It is really a 2-horse race right now, but pit strategy could come into it. Battle for the race lead as they're 3 wide, lap car to the outside. Gawker going to have to go to the middle, and he slides a little bit down into turns 1 and 2. Out of turn 2, they're going to drag race this one for the race lead. Axum down on the bottom side. Can he get the power down out of turn 4 is what's going to be the question. He will not. Gawker Gockert holds the spot, but they're going to do it again down in 1 and 2. The 22 trying to charge. At this point, he sees a little opening. He just cannot get it done. He'll funnel back in behind the number 2. Jimmy Gockert going to retain the race lead here with just 80 laps remaining here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway.
80 laps to go. The pay window's starting to get greased up, and heavy lap traffic in front of him. Will Axum be able to set up a pick as they come up on Daryl Dillon? Dillon runs in the 15th spot on the lead lap. He's the last car on the lead lap. He's got Brett Hahn and Ferguson and Swank right there in front of him. They are 2 by 2 in front of the race leaders. This could get interesting. Here's your top 2 work behind the race, those drivers, and they're racing hard for position. They're racing hard to stay on the lead lap, but here come the leaders. Gawker right to the back bumper. Which lane do you choose?
Just kind of stuck right now. Both those drivers, the 7 of Dillon and the 71 of Hahn, they were battling inside the top 10 not long ago. Now you see the 71 up the speedway. He'll go a lap down. The 7 going from the bottom to the top. He'll give the race leaders the inside lane. Now what does the number 55 of Ollie Ferguson do? He is the next driver that is going to get in the way here, and it looks like he's going to have to stay to the bottom because the 7 of Daryl Dillon is faster than the 55. Side by side, 3 wide out of turn number 2. Dillon with a little scrape to the outside wall. They will split that number 55 there, putting Ollie Ferguson a lap down and back a position.
And there you see Axum give plenty of space to those lap cars. Is Dillon trying to work the outside? He's going to get back on the lead lap, working the outside. Now Gawker to the inside. Thought Axum might try to make a move to the outside to get to the Gawker's right rear quarter panel, but he tucks it back in line. Good stuff up at the front of this one. A game of cat and mouse as they work here. Dillon fighting hard to stay on the lead lap. Gawker spotters yelling, "Get out of the way!" as the race leaders rage for this one win of the Snowball Derby by Postma Flooring. Thomas Axum just kind of there. Oh, you see the 2. He's pushing it hard, Roger. Got a little bit of a 4-tire slide that time off turn number 2.
Good racing here. Yeah, the 7's trying to stay on the lead lap, but your race leader trying to also hold off Thomas Axum, and it's just good, hard racing. No contact between the 7 of Daryl Dillon or the number 2 of Jimmy Gawker. That is how these drivers are here tonight. That just shows you how good they are. They're able to battle, whether you're back there into that 13th position like Dillon is, or if you're Gawker, who is trying to hold off the race lead. This time, let's see what happens down the back straightaway. Nowhere to go. Al, you talked about the slide there by the number 2 of Jimmy Gawker. He came down on lap number 110. Well over 100 laps now on those tires. They're wore out, and now he made them hot. Is that what happened here? Is that why he had to fall back? It was just too hot to grip?
Are they too hot there? Oh, now they're going to make contact. He's going to move the 7 up the racetrack. Says he had enough of them as Dillon got moved by the race leader, and it just knew it was probably a matter of time, right, Roger? Like, you got the race leaders, and Dillon, by no means, in my opinion, doing anything wrong. He has every right to race hard, try to stay on that lead lap here, but the race leader having none of it moves them. No harm, no foul, but those top 2 now staying together as they run nose to tail. Axum trying to figure out, but did that cause any damage to the number 2 car, or does Axum just sit there, play possum, as they've opened it up to 2.4 seconds over Kratachi. Now Kratachi has those same drivers. He dispatches of them, and Nichols has really dropped off.
Yeah, nothing wrong there with what Gawker
Absolutely
or Dillon
not.
were doing. I mean, he's trying to stay on the lead lap, but Gawker's trying to put him a lap down. He's trying to run away from Axum. Just a little bit of a bump. He didn't wreck him. He just moved him up out of the groove because, hey, we're under 100 laps here. We got to go. Yes, you're trying to stay on the lead lap in case the caution flag comes out. But, I mean, at this point now, he's just put back there. He is the first car 1 lap down. That is Daryl Dillon. So right now sitting in the 13th spot. First car 1 lap down. If a caution were to come out, he will be the lucky dog recipient right now. Now, that will all change here in just a little bit because the next car out in front of the race leaders, that is Aiden Murray. That Bucky's number 72 travel stop entry. He is the next car. That would be a lap down right now if Jimmy Gawker got to him. But Dylan also back there, who's running 13th. He's got to worry about Ollie Ferguson and Brett Hahn, who are just behind him also.
I don't know if you noticed, Axum's kind of let about a car length between himself and Gawker, not really pressuring him too hard right now, Roger. Is Gawker starting to push that car a little bit harder, but both of them migrating up the racetrack. Those shadows starting to get longer in turns 3 and 4 as we close in on 60 laps to go in the running of the Postma Flooring Snowball Derby.
Just watching the lap times here. Remember, we were almost at a full 1 second. It looks like your race leaders have started to pick the pace up. They're back to about, call it 3/4 of a second now slower. But we will see if that pace can continue to hold on here for Jimmy Gawker. Remember, he pitted back on lap number 110. We are currently sitting with 240 in the books. So 130 laps, and now we didn't think they could go much farther than 130. Yes, we had some caution flags in between there tonight. But how far can that 2 go?
Yeah, right now, less cars on the racetrack right now. Just 20 cars on the racetrack making circuits, and everyone kind of doing their own battles. They got the race leaders barring down on them. Swank trying to work around Lamb, and that's right in front of him. You see that purple and black car as we keep the cameras on the race leaders as they roll up on the 72 of Murray. That's a battle for the top 10 right there in front of them. That's how fast these leaders are going. That's how the field is spread out. Right now with 243 laps completed in the Postma Flooring Snowball Derby, in what has been a fantastic race. Out front, though, it is the driver, the number 2, Jimmy Gawker, and he has led 92 laps of the 244 laps completed.
That's a lot of laps, but the question is, will he be able to lead the one that matters? And that is the last one. As you see the 2 of Jimmy Gawker get to the outside of number 72, that's going to put Aiden Murray a lap down if he can dispose of that number 72. Get tight there off the corner of the 72. I thought might almost come up into the 2, but he was able to hold it down to the bottom. So the 72 of Murray going to go a lap down. Then it's going to be Hayden Schwank. Schwank is sitting in the 11th position. He just has not had the same car since we went back green flag racing after he took that slide down in turns 3 and 4, wrapped up in that big one we had over there. And just ahead of him, that's Joey Lamb. Lamb, he has had to fight through adversity here tonight just to be holding that top 10 position. So I'd kind of almost chalk that up as, well, I may not be winning this one, holding the big check, but man, did I battle, and I battled good, and this one feels like a win to walk out of this race.
Absolutely, and right now Axum starting to fade a little bit. Did he go too hard to try to get there? Did he use the good on the tires, or is he just kind of riding, saving it? Still a long race to go, closing in right now 52 laps to go in the Snowball Derby. Gawker leads it over Axum, Kurtachi, and Nichols. Nichols has dropped 3 seconds off. Oh,
the race leader. 1 car into the inside wall. That's the 81 of Joey Lamb. Lamb comes to a stop. Let's see as he's trying to get that car rolling.
And now the yellow flag will fly as he gets the car fired. Oh boy, what do you do now if you're the leader? Only 9 cars on the lead lap.
Now you bring it to pit road. You got to bring it to pit road.
Right?
It's only 9 cars. That's, that's not a lot of drivers.
No, it's not a lot of drivers. The worst you're gonna restart is 10th. Hayden Swink should get the free pass as we call that your top 2 coming out. Everybody coming down pit road. At least the first 4 coming down pit road. Riley Duncan. He comes in as he'll get the pit road. That's how big of a lead those 4 had on those as the field gets there.
Yeah, everybody came to pit road. All 9 drivers on the lead lap came to pit road. You see some other cars like Ferguson, Lamb, Hassan also coming down pit road. Those drivers are just down to try and get service. The longer they can sit there. As a good stop here, actually. Jimmy Gockert looked like he's going to come out of pit road first. So it'll be Gockert, then it'll be Axum, Kratacci, the top three, and then Nichols will funnel in there also. You see Hayden Schwank, he is getting his lap back, so he'll get back on the lead lap, and then he'll get his pit service done also.
Question for you, though, Roger. 2 tires stop, it looks like, for your top 3, maybe top 4 cars, all just taking 2 tires?
Yeah, I believe that's what we just saw there by your top drivers.
I like the fact Zach Nichols, he comes out P number 6, but a 4 tire stop on the 44 car. I like that call with the amount of laps left to go. I like using a full set of tires right there.
Yeah, it looks like him and Joey Lamb were drivers that went ahead and put 4 tires on. So, yeah, four tires with only 9 cars. Restarting 9th at the worst. Nichols actually looks like he's going to restart right around the 6th position. So, yeah, 4 tires. Look for him to use them.
I like that call. The pace truck down and away. Green flag back up. Nope, and they're going to call it off. They're going to call off that start. A late call off. Luckily, we didn't stack any cars up right there.
That was a close one. I kind of just had my mouth open going, oh, no, what's about to happen here? And, I mean, great job by all those drivers. They all held up, all gave each other the room. You got to give their hats off for them being aware of their surroundings and what was going on. Looks like we will turn the lights right back off on the pace truck because nobody went anywhere, so we're ready to go again.
They are ready to go as they get ready to come into the Postma flooring restart zone. Green flag back up. We are back underway.
Great start by Jimmy Gocker. That'll put side-by-side battle for Axum and Kratacci there for that 2nd position. Axum looks like he'll be able to hold on. Looks like restart under review for Jimmy Gocker for a possible lane change before the start-finish line. So being reviewed right now by your officials. We'll keep tabs on that when we stay green right now with under 50 laps to go.
Right now, Axum runs in 2nd. The battle is between Duncan and Bors. That's for 4th. And that's got the 44 of Zach Nichols stacked up. A little bit of contact between the two. Nichols now trying to get to the outside of Bors. He's on the right rear quarter panel. Can he keep him pinched down off of turn number 4? Answer is yes. He draws even. That's the battle for the 5th spot. Meanwhile, Gawker, Axum, and Kratacci have started to pull away from this battle as they run single file. Roger, we haven't talked about it much, but there is a lot of money on the line right now. Top 15 drivers get some money back, but it's $125 to win. Did Gawker possibly cost himself that with a possible infraction? We'll wait to see what the ruling is on that from race control with 40 laps to go.
Being told that it is good. We will stay with the lineup we have right now. Jimmy Gocker not being assessed a lane change penalty, so it's Gocker, Axum, Kratacci is how the top 3 with Duncan, Nichols, Bors, Murray, Dietz, Hoffman, and Schwank, the top 10 drivers.
That they work around there. Gawker shows the way. Hoffman underneath the number 88 of Dietz. He's going to bring Schwank. Schwank inside the top 10 right now as they look to chase down Caleb Ramsey. That car there, he is down a lap to the race leaders as he'll move out of the way, let these lead cars settle amongst themselves.
Yeah, nothing changed at the front of the field. You got to go to that 5th position to find some dicing up if you will. Riley Duncan, Zach Nichols, and Boers. They're still continuing to kind of swap these positions back and forth. Boers will not go away. He is all over the back of that number 44 of Zach Nichols, as this time by to be 264 laps officially in the books here. Gawker has a 2-car length lead for the race lead as they work into turn number 3.
That they do as they are sitting here battling it out, and it's really surprised the 2 tires are as fast as they are, and Nichols not able to slice through the field like I thought he would be able to. Now Boers goes from the high side to the inside underneath Nichols. Nichols stuck there behind the 97 of Duncan as that allows Boers back to the inside, and Nichols, seeing the race leaders pulling away, he's got to be thinking, I gotta go. He cuts underneath that time. Duncan with a good run off the corner, though. Unable to make anything happen as Axum stalking your race leader, Jimmy Gawker. We still watch that battle for the 4th spot.
Yeah, sand in the hourglass is starting to run down. Zach Nichols, if you got it, you gotta go. That's for sure. Question is now, when do you use the old chrome horn? As you see the Easy Clean number 97 open up the door. Here comes the 44 now for Nichols. He'll take the Cadillac down to the bottom side. He'll go catfishing here in turns 1 and 2. He'll be able to look like he was going to get a great run. A good entry into turn 3 as you see the 97 slide up in the middle. They're drag race it down the front straightaway, give the spot to the 97 for the time being. But Nichols, he's going to rub him up, he's going to move him up, and he's going to try him around. He will not contact it around the 44 into the outside wall.
Nichols, heavy damage as him and the 97 of Duncan make contact. Oh boy, one of the favorites in trouble here in the closing stages of this event. Oof. Let's take a look at that one, Roger. We got the queued up. Trying to clear him and up the racetrack. Got a little bit loose, and then Duncan couldn't get off of him. And they get into the outside retaining wall for the 44 of Nichols.
Heavy contact there for the 44 of Zach Nichols. Nothing from either side being discussed here, so both teams, both drivers, all just staying very quiet here, because you know how things can get out of hand here at the Five Flag Speedway, especially in this kind of pressure situation with all the big dollars being ready to be distributed through the field here once we hit lap 300. And man, Zach Nichols had those fresh tires. He thought he was sitting in the catbird seat, but now you're going to have to start to focus back on Jimmy Gawker, Thomas Axum, and Jaden Kratacci. Remember how last time we bunched this field back up, though? Jimmy Gawker switching lanes before the start-finish line. Could that come into play here late?
I'm sure that he is going to keep that in mind, as one of the worst feelings as a race leader is to get that, hey, your restart is under review from race control. Kind of makes your heart stop there for a moment.
Ty Majeski would know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, let's not call Ty up and get his opinion on it. But we'll see what happens here. Gawker, Axum, Kratacci, Boers, and Duncan, your top 5.
Looks like Gawker's going to take the outside lane here with Axum pulling up to the inside. Then it's going to be Kratacci and Boers, the front 2 rows.
12 cars on the lead lap. Brett Hahn in the 71 still on the lead lap. It looks like they're still trying to get lined up. Are they going to let this one go? Looks like they will. Into the Postma flooring restart zone, and a spin of the tires for Axum allows Boers to get to the outside. Can he take the number 2 spot away? Jimmy Gawker loving what he sees in there. They're 3 wide, deeper in the pack. That's between Dylan, Murray, and Deitch.
Second place, though, Axum down on the bottom, trying to dispose of the number 28 there of Preston Boers. It looks like in turn 1, he'll get the better entry. He'll be able to wash out of turn number 2. It will be Gawker, Axum, Boers trying to hold on, because here comes Jaden Kratacci down to the inside. Can the 11 start to do anything here late in this one. Boers holding on with 24 laps to go to the outside, but it looks like now Jaden starts to nose ahead just behind them. Then it is, I believe, look at Hayden Swank. Where did he come from? He is now the driver that is sitting in the 5th position as they're 3 wide. Nichols in the middle. They're going to get squeezed up into the outside wall.